Hey, it's Sterling K. Brown from the Hulu original series Paradise. The next chapter begins as Xavier's search for his wife takes him above ground, and what he finds will change everything. It was never just about the bunker. Tune in and discover the truth lies outside. Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming, and stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Welcome back to Connect with Jonathan Mark. This is a very different episode, and I try to say that every week because each one is very different. But this episode is me really reaching out to a normal reading, not doing unsolved cases, not doing missing persons. This person reached out and was hurting, and I connected her to someone that was extremely important to her that passed tragically and recently. And I think we all can relate to that to some extent. I know I can. When I lost my uncle in a very tragic way and it was recent, it really changes your outlook on life. And to see people being really strong keeps me going when I do my readings too. And guys, I appreciate every single one of you. So let's welcome Melissa. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on. You know what I like to do in certain types of episodes, and I think people know this, a lot of my episodes are unsolved and missing person cases with like families and law enforcement. But there's a huge part of me that just loves to help people, like my neighbor, like just everyday people, because that's what means the most to me. So I would love to give you a reading, and I would love to give you like a quick little reading, and then we can discuss it after, because I think, everyone loses someone, which is like I always say this to people, it's kind of like the one thing we all have in common, which is just like super unfortunate that we all have to go through this at different various points in our lives with different people. So I would love to connect you. You have someone coming in, and I don't want to miss this person. Not that this person would never go away. So, okay. Your husband, James, is here. There's a couple of things that he keeps wanting to come and talk to you about. There's a lot of love and there's a lot of thanks. However, he keeps saying what I think sometimes people don't realize what they do to the people that they're closest with. Because what he keeps saying to me is he's kissing you and putting his head down and apologizing for the fact that you protected. I know this may sound silly, but I know sometimes perception means a lot to people and how they're perceived by their peers and stuff. And he's saying you really protected his perception or the way that he was viewed, because what he keeps saying to me is that what you had to go through, he keeps tapping my door, kind of like behind closed doors, wasn't always rainbows, unicorns, and butterflies is what he's saying. And he's saying you were a very strong person. He keeps saying for keeping like your side of the street clean, but trying to keep his clean while he was really at times not being the best. Now, what he's also saying to me too is the intensity of his passing, because what he keeps talking to me about that is obviously he's putting ribbons in front of me, so it appears like it's cancer. But what he's saying to me is the velocity of it and how fast it happened. But what he's also mentioning to me too, which is really important, I think all the times and all the stuff that you protected him with, and maybe sometimes he wasn't the best. And we all have our moments, but he's saying when stuff hit the fan, you were the first person there and with him every second of every step. And I don't think he can thank you enough for that, because he keeps showing to me that you were there from beginning, middle to end and after. And when he's also showing to me about this too, and he's smiling, is a ripple effect. And I use this term for people because I do feel like there are ripple effects that happen within passings. But what he's saying to me is the ripple effect is the aftermath of it and how you had to hold everything together, not just like for your family, because he's saying you guys have children together, but he's saying just the extended family and how sometimes you need to protect yourself, because he's saying to me that he tried to protect you from like maybe different family situations, but he's saying that you are just such a strong person and he's so thankful for you. And he's saying, and he's smiling at me, because I wanted to ask you this. I know this is going to be silly, but because he's smiling, Who's a truck driver?
Him.
Oh, he was a truck driver because he keeps putting trucks and like 18 wheelers. I'm not saying that he did 18 wheelers, but he's putting like the 18 wheelers in front of me and he's smiling because he's saying that it was a very demanding job. Like what he did was very demanding. And he's saying that you just held down the fort the entire time, no questions asked. And why he's saying this to me, because he wants me to understand like how much of a great mom and wife you were and are, because he's saying that he didn't get to let you know how much he appreciated that, because he's saying that a lot of the times he never wants you to think and never wants you to even second guess that he never like even thought about the appreciation factor, only because he's saying he's smiling, saying his mouth can get him in trouble is what he keeps saying. And he's saying that he had a very interesting way of showing like affection and just a very interesting way of like navigating things. But what he's also saying to me too is that he's so thankful for is the life that you guys created, because he keeps saying that, and I'm not saying this is what he would like to do, but he keeps cracking a beer in front of me and smiling and saying it was the simple things with you guys that he really liked to do. And I'm not saying that he drank all the time. That's not really what I'm getting at. But he's talking to me about cracking like a Corona and just hanging out, because he's saying it's those little things that he never really got to appreciate. And what he's also saying to me too with a lot of this, because he keeps putting a family and a roof, like a family of four and a roof over like everyone's head. And he's saying you not only worked a full-time job, but he's saying you worked another full-time job of being a mom. And he's saying that like he tried his best when he could. However, he understands and knows that at times it wasn't good enough. But his biggest thing that he's coming through about is him just showing to me that I think sometimes people don't know what happens behind closed doors. And sometimes people think everything is great. And he's saying that he is so thankful that even the stuff that happened behind closed doors, not many people knew about. And he's thanking you for keeping it that way. And it's not because you were going to hurt him. He's saying that you kept the family going when people were very stressed and not doing well. And what he's also saying too is when he was sick, I mean, you must have been like super mom, because he's saying he's putting an S on your chest and thanking you, because he's saying it was not easy. He's saying the velocity, how intense it got. He's saying that you had to give up a good portion of your life for him, and he never thanked you for that. He's saying you really, truly had to put your life on hold in various different work and everything. He's saying everything was put on hold. The one thing you can get out of this is that how much he's appreciative of you and how much he wishes that he told you that constantly, because he keeps kissing you and he keeps saying that he wish he did that more, because he's saying that you deserved the affection, you deserved all that, and you deserved, he's laughing, the help. He's saying you deserved the help. And he's saying that his job was just very demanding and long hours. Well, I mean, if he was a truck driver, I would only imagine that it was demanding and long hours and stuff. But he's saying you were just, the one thing he keeps clapping at is the support. It's like this loyalty he keeps talking to me about, this like undying loyalty. Because he's saying since you were kids until now, he's saying that loyalty never changed. And he's smiling because he's saying in this life and the next life, he's going to always have your best interest. And I guess you could say he's smiling. He's always going to have your back. And he loves you literally more than anything. So I just wanted to give you that quick reading. I want to hear about everything. I'm sure everyone else does too. I mean, he's a pretty vocal person. He's also, the one thing I really like about him, I love when I read people just in general, but the one thing I actually think is quite amazing with him is when people recognize their mistakes. Like hindsight's 2020, I always say, and I do think that is true. But when they acknowledge that stuff, it's really important, because he wants that weight off of your chest, gone, because he's saying that you held a lot of that, just to yourself. And I'm not saying that you didn't share it with I guess it doesn't seem like you shared it with many people, because he's saying that your intention was being loyal, and not that even if you do share this, that you're being disloyal. He's just saying to me that when he was here, he just appreciated the fact that you kept, things private. And I tried to keep as much as I could private. I just wanted you to know. And then I wanted to acknowledge like some of the stuff, just because he's saying that you just deserve like just all happiness, is what he's saying. You deserve truly all happiness. So I would love to hear about him. I'm sure everyone, like I said, would too. Please share. And I just think it's quite amazing from what he's showing to me, what you kind of did for him.
Well, okay. So we were together for 28 years, married for what would have been 26 in this summer. He kissed me when we were 10. Our families knew each other, and he just really, at age 15, he was like that again. And we just kept coming back together, and we ended up coming together when we were in our early 20s. So he just captivated me. I mean, the two of us together, I don't even know how to explain it. Right until the end, he just captivated my soul. Like, that's just how it was. He ended up being diagnosed with lung cancer in December of 24 and passed away 4 months later.
That's fast.
Yeah, it was very fast and very aggressive, and we had no idea. And one of the things that I tried to make sure that we did is that I was able to be with him every day. My work allowed me to do that, which I'm very grateful for. And I was able to, the doctors weren't very clear with us on exactly what was going on. And I really worked hard to make sure that I was a cheerleader for him and that he really didn't understand what was necessarily going on or what we thought. We just always believed he'd get better. And I think that mattered to him. His personality was that he would get very anxious about things. So I knew that, and I loved him for everything that he was. And him and I decided a few years ago that that's how we were going to focus on each other. And we just enjoyed each other so much. I don't know what that subconscious shift was, but we had it.
That's amazing.
And I feel as though it's almost like we were preparing for this thing that we didn't know that was going to happen. We have 2 kids together. They're 19 and 23. And this has been rough on them too. Our son at age 10 also had cancer and survived it and did very well. And we're grateful for that. He is in remission and considered a survivor. That's why I wanted to do this podcast. I felt like I was hoping he would come through. And I am hopeful that in some way, shape, or form that this can help other people. Widowhood is not something that you want to be a part of. But unfortunately, like you said, death is a part of life. And there's anything that we could share that would help other people, because this is the hardest thing I've ever done.
I think it's super courageous. And I say this to everyone. I think it's courageous to do a reading. There's like many reasons why I personally think that. I know everyone is different, but the hope of that person coming through, but like also hearing the unknown, right? Like people don't really know what's going to come with the reading. And I think it's really strong when people do it and courageous. And I think it's amazing that you did it amongst everything from what you just said too. I mean, you guys been put through a lot. So the fact that you even trusted me to do this, like I said, I am so appreciative.
And I think a lot of it was, of course, I'm a researcher and I researched behind the scenes all the work you've done. I've watched so many of your videos before I decided to reach out and actually see if I could become someone that you could do a reading for. So I am extremely grateful for this opportunity. I needed to hear from him. I don't know. It's hard, but you know what? We're about 10 months out right now from when he passed. And, I think each day is pretty tricky in some ways, but in other ways, I'm grateful for being alive. And, I'm happy to hear what he had to say, because I do think it's a part of the healing process. Whether it's my kids watching this and being able to hear it too at some point, I think that that's important. But also, for anyone having to go through this, the hard part is the unknown. Like, you hope they're okay. You hope that, what you chose to do was in their best interest and the best way in which to do it. You don't know. And when you're in a crisis, you respond the best you believe you can. And I felt confident that we made the right choices of what to do based on what we were facing.
From what I see, You definitely did. I mean, the appreciation factor, like I said, is huge. But the thing that I see is the like, and I know I mentioned this, but it's the loyalty. It's that loyalty that means so much to him. And kind of what you said, it's like loving someone for who they are, good, bad, or indifferent. And he's saying it's just this loyalty that you had to him. And it was pretty amazing. I mean, like I said, he's coming through. Like, and I do say this because this is how they do come through. It's like I see the best versions of them. So like how he's coming through, it's healthy but happy and appreciative. And I'm so thankful that you came and you sat here with me. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Melissa, for coming on. Thank you for trusting me. All right, guys, please do not forget to rate and review the show 5 stars. We are so close to 500, and every 100 that I hit, I give away a reading. We are getting there, and I'm excited. And also, please do not forget to follow me on my social media at Jonathan Mark Medium on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, everything, just to stay updated on things. And if you have an unsolved case that you want my help with, please send an email to connectjonathanmark@gmail.com. All right, guys, I appreciate you every single week.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. You can't solve every case for your kids, but with Greenlight, they'll have the instincts and money skills to stay out of trouble. With a Greenlight debit card and money app, parents can monitor spending and teach financial responsibility. Educate your kids as they grow, from earning allowance and tracking chores to learning how to save and invest. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Spotify.